Hey.
Hi.
Shut up. How is everybody today? I'm James,
I'm Denise.
aka Alti, aka Beast, aka my wife, also known as Pumpkin, also known as what else?
Miss.
Meesy Poo or Meese, which is she'll say all the time when I'm looking for her. She goes by many names, but the one name that is most important is Child of God. Today, I didn't really have stuff just come to me. I haven't been like planning these things. You know what I'm saying? I thought today was kind of interesting. I want my mom to come on. Be honest with you, uh, I would love to hear her like talk and say stuff, and she may walk in and be like, "My phone charger."
Oh, yeah.
But I wanted to talk about you.
Okay.
I thought God was like. There are times where you go to church and you be like, God speaking to me. I can tell. But I really thought today's like I love our ministry. I love the ministry. I love Pastor Roy. If you ever watch these, man, I just want to say thank you. Well, let me start with that. You mind?
Sure.
I was very intentional about church today, and it's so crazy how Pastor Roy today was baby dedication, which I had no idea about. So we get to church, and my mom is with me, right? She's with us. She's with us. And mom's with us. And I was very intentional because my church is a prophetic church, right? Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
It's prophetic. All right, I'm laying the groundwork for her agreement, which can be spooky and scary to some people, who's not. If you haven't read Acts, if you don't know like the gifts of the Spirit, if you don't understand how truly it is amazing when the Lord speak like he did it in the Bible and he does it still, right? Pastor Roy talked about that today. God hasn't changed his word and what he's done. If y'all haven't noticed, I got my chair from outside, so I'm a little taller than to me. He's like, this is the true representation. Because normally I'd be like slouched. So I think there you go. So I had somebody put hands on my kidney. For those who may or may not know, going through the kidney process, after I got my transplant, 6 weeks after my transplant, I had this crazy pain. I thought my appendix burst. But in actuality, when they transplanted the young lady's kidney to my body, she is smaller than me. Like she's about your size, right? Like she was small. Yeah, she's smaller than Ultimisa. Ultimisa's 5'3", 5'4", right? I'm 6'4". So you have this little person's kidney in this big person's body. You know what I'm saying? So the little kidney that she gave me, which I'm grateful for, I have to remind myself that it does double the work that it would do if it was in her body, going in my body. So the surgeons are so egotistical, man. It's so crazy. We could talk about that. But the surgeon, when they attached everything, there's a hole. There was a hole. They don't know how the hole, and they were stumped about where the hole was, but there was a hole and there was leakage of urine going into my bladder. So if I don't know, like that was the most intense abdominal pain I've ever felt in my life, right? Like you remember how it was. Get to the hospital, like, yeah, you got a hole, which is why I had the bag. I was for a year, I had the bags, you know what I'm saying, coming out of my body. Had to use the bathroom in bags because they couldn't find the hole. So I've had 3 surgeries and I had 13 tube changes, like taking the tube out, connected it, the dye. They was trying to find the hole for 9 months. They couldn't find this hole. I kid you not. I went to church in October. It was either Bishop Garland, I can't remember who. Somebody put their hands on my kidney, and next thing you know, it was like, we don't know, we don't find the hole. They couldn't find the hole. There was no more leakage. Like tubes got to come out. You hear that? That's the airplane going to Beaufort.
Mm-hmm.
But that was healing. And I've seen countless amount of people go up to the altar, get hands placed on them, and get healed. So bring this experience. For those of you who may or may not know, my mother recently suffered a stroke, and she's with us now. Like, we're taking care of her. For like almost a month ago, like on June 8th, like everything kind of happened the first part of June. And Altamisa asked me, was I okay? And I get why she asked me sometimes, because people's normal reactions like that's your mom, right? Something's happened to her. But I was real chill, I was real cool. But then in the back of my mind, I was like, yo, I gotta get her in front of somebody who can lay hands on her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I know where I wanted to take her, which is to our ministry, to our church. I'm saying our. I don't want to say my ministry, but DLC belongs to so many people. Again, shout out to Pastor Roy and Pastor Crystal for creating an environment. Shout out to 19 years of ministry as well, too. But the perfect opportunity this weekend was a recruiting weekend. At first, Altamise wasn't supposed to go to Atlanta, but it's also my weekend with my son. You know, it's like, yo, shout out to my wife for being such a team player. So we gathered the dog, our daughter, my mom, and everybody comes to Atlanta. And today I could have went to the gym, but I was like, yo, I gotta get her in front of somebody. So as soon as I go into church, I see two elders, Elder Powell and Elder Bokey. And I tell them, I said, look, I don't care who it is. Before I leave here, I would want somebody to lay hands on my mom. Now, I've laid hands on my mom. I've also got a prayer cloth sent to my mom, which that prayer cloth is actually for her, but I'm gonna keep it universal because we talked about that. But I just like, yo, and there are people who I know who have the gift of healing in their hands. Like, it's not something that I just read in the Bible. It's something that I've actually gone through. But in the process, that was the first thing he did. I didn't expect that. I just thought we'd see him after. But the very first thing he did, today was a baby dedication. Didn't know I was going to show up. You know, I just brought my mom. The first thing he did was call us up to the front and lay hands on my mom. And when I tell you, baby, there's something, I don't know if you felt it, you weren't holding her, but when he told her to release, and her, because you know, you see people fall out, you be like, man, what you falling out? But I felt my mom's body just go down. Like, I felt if it was like a weight she was trying to hold up, like whatever it was, she could probably explain. I wish she was like, she don't want to. I asked her, did she want to come on? She didn't want to come on. She cool though, mom's cool. But to feel that, then we sit down, and then he starts delivering the message, and he starts saying these things. Now, I don't know how you take stuff because I'm not in your brain, but as he's relaying, as he's getting imparted to from God, it's weaved in the message. It's like these different prophetic messages for different people. He's telling them to stand up. Like Pastor Roy is so good at weaving. Well, today he was like on point with like weaving the message to somebody that it was directed to. Now, he didn't officially like pow pow. God didn't shoot you directly, but I felt like he was telling you things that you and I had talked about, especially in these last 6 months, right? And we're gonna talk about it some more as we get closer to. But like for you going through it, because you've gone through it.
People don't know what it's in.
No, I know, and I don't want to share because I know it's your story. No, when I say gone through it, like just with the business,
Just in general.
yeah, just like the last year, just 365 days, because like right about now, last year is when it started to be. I'm saying like a year, talking a year later, and we're less than 30 days from you having a birthday. Today's message, just stay in that vein. But like for 365 days, then you get to a message on, June 28th. And it was like, I'm thinking guys like, bing, 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 bing to your heart. What was it? I'll shut up. I'll get out the way and let you.
Yeah.
What was what was the prophet? What was that story in John chapter 5? The story of the lame man who couldn't get into the pool. the spring? You know, what was?
You're fine. So it was a timely message. It was for me. If anything, reminded me not to harden my heart. My heart is getting hard. So it reminded me to stay soft to God's presence and His word in the process. So, I mean, you go through stuff, and you to continue through, you know. So for me, there were little nuggets here and there, but I think the overarching was like just to stay soft to His voice in the process. Because yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot, and like the hardened heart just would be kind of like callous, be hard to penetrate.
For who?
Me.
No. Who's trying to penetrate?
People when you try to affirm.
Okay.
When you try to speak life.
Yeah.
I don't hear it. I hear it. It's not penetrating.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So I think today's message was a reminder that like that's the softness is required so I can hear God speak.
So for 38 years, that dude sat by that water waiting for the time when that spring was going to bubble up. And for 37 of those years, he didn't get healed because he couldn't make it. You were told one day this magazine's going to come out. Then you were told another. And then recently you got told, like, it's not denial, but it's delay. Like, it just feels like this whole process has been delay. How have you been in that? Like, is that where the heart starting to become hard with the delay, or what is the delay doing?
Not necessarily that part.
Yeah. You worked hard.
The delay, it's to me, it's just like what's another month? Because we already here, so what's another month? Or like it's there, and I had to reframe it because I was like, maybe God is He's giving me time for one because to build the publication, I have to build relationships with business partners. Yeah. That's just one side. The other side is content. The other side is relationship with the residents. That's the side that if it stayed a launch a month earlier, that would have been crazy. On top of still trying to continue building relationships with new business partners. So I wanted to have a launch party. I wanted to do all these things. Yeah. That it was going to be chaotic. So I understand the extension. Like God has given me more time to do it in a way that's thoughtful. Okay. But I had to shift my frame of thought because it definitely was like, okay, what's another? Like I think when they told me, I laughed. My laughter in those moments, it's very telling. Like there are certain moments if I laugh, that's not a humorous laugh. Like it is more like okay. So I had one of those moments. So I'm gonna shift gears, but I still want you to stay in that mindset. Today, and then we had to we were on the road. Then we're part of Nation of Coaches, and they do really do a good job of intentionally trying to focus on marriages. So we're with a group of about 45 to 50 couples, married couples who pour into each other. Shout out to Shauna Lynette, who do our teachings and have been a part of our life for the better, almost going on a year now, literally 10 months. Have been a part of our young marriage. But today they talked about identity. And I thought we didn't get to talk as much, but I figured we can come on here and share a little bit about, I think it was an important conversation for marriage. And in the lines of my belief as a husband, like my belief as a husband
coming into this marriage was I didn't want you to lose your identity, but in the course of a relationship, you kind of, in the event of, especially in the last 7 months, my identity was shaken. You go from being the head coach to being no coach. You know what I'm saying? My identity was tied in what I did, but I was slowly, upon meeting you, I was slowly getting to that place where you was like, you should be a speaker, like getting into the intellectual bag, right? For me, and coming out of just the athletic framework of my life. In the past year, uh, what would you say about the identity framework for you? Like, has it shifted? Has it grown? Have you felt like you lost a little bit? Like where you are in that? Where are you in that? Because I can tell you where I've been. Like to know, yeah. We hadn't talked about this.
So after I share, I would love to hear your perspective.
Okay, cool. You want to ask a question, or you want me to just share?
I would love to just hear your thoughts on it. It's probably going to spark some questions for me. So interesting enough, when the ladies were talking, I actually had a thought that was like interesting. I was like, I don't think I struggle there.
Ooh, I was thinking the same thing. Go ahead.
I don't think I struggle because I'm pretty anchored in Azar.
I thought so too.
In understanding, and Azar, for one, is just not an agency. Okay, so like that, the agency's name is Azar, but that's not. It's so much deeper than that. Yeah. So it's when I say I'm rooted in Azar, that's not a doing of the agency. That's a being of who God created me to be. So I'm also learning and discovering that I'm in a battle season. How I show up, how I be, it's going to look like I'm in battle because I'm in battle. I had to be okay with that. I had to learn to be okay with that. That's not changing who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just because I'm slower than normal or whatever, that's not changing who I am. Period. It doesn't matter what anybody say. Somebody could say, oh, you're not good at this. You don't deserve this. You're not good at sales. You're not this. You're not that. I am still who God created me to be.
Interesting. That's good.
So I think that if anything, you may experience a little resistance of the integration or the potential loss of not self. I'm not self, but like in becoming a wife again, I know what it takes.
Yeah.
And there is a part where there are going to be moments where things that I desire to do will be, even if they're not paused, they're delayed. Or modified. Like,
yeah.
This whole weekend was modification. Whole weekend. The entire weekend. Not 1 ounce of Alti. Not one moment. It's all modification. And then I'll squeeze in a little bit of time for myself somewhere. So I think that's where if you ever were to feel resistance to something, I think it's that. But I don't think I struggle with like the identification of me losing myself as your wife.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, but I'm curious. Like, I know we've had conversations even before this about like how you have felt once before about coaching, and like how your identity, you're recognizing there's so much. Like, you knew there's much more to you, but now you're leveraging those things.
I don't even think it's a leverage. I'm exploring. Like, meeting you, I'm meeting the man that I never would have met if I stayed single. I never would have met if I was still in Denmark, South Carolina, at Voorhees. Because so much of of my life was tied to what I did. It goes back to your calling, your assignment. I'm thinking my calling is coaching. No, that's just my assignment. This assignment can be taken away.
Yeah.
Coach Ford said it tonight. Like, man, you just can't fall in love with places. Mm-hmm. And I've done that. I fell in love with the places that I've been. I became that. So, like, what happens when you don't have a logo to put on? And that's what happened to me. You know what I'm saying? In October, you go in my closet, you know, I had gotten rid of all the Voorhees Tiger stuff. I didn't have USCB stuff. I didn't have.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing I had was Nike, but like even like what do I wear on a daily basis? It's shorts and t-shirt. I'm used to having some logo. Now I currently do have a logo on now, but for a time there, for a 2-week period there, I was lost. That was scary. Mm-hmm. That was scary. You being married to you has caused me to face the man. Like, who is James Cornelius Williams for the first time in my life? Now, it's in spots, but everything was tied to, like, what I did on the sidelines or what I did with other people's kids. Now I'm faced with, what do I do? What I got to do with this? Like, what I got to do with this woman who is, for all intents and purposes, these are, you know what I'm saying? So I think you've held up that mirror, but on the backside for you is blank, but for me it's like, look at yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let's explore. And you did it in a way to where you spoke into, like, hey, you're going to be a public speaker. I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. I want to be on the sideline. Now it's to the point where it's like, seriously, like if I don't decide to ever coach another basketball game again, I'm satisfied. Like, God allowed me to do something for 15, 16 years. And I never once had a job. I survived. Mm. And now I'm just exploring the intellectual side, which, you know, for me is always, I wanted the intellectual being. I wanted James, the intellectual, to always be my identity. I never wanted basketball to be my identity. Just because I was taught, people always assumed I played basketball. But the one thing that I really wanted people to know about was how smart I am, right? That's ego a little bit too with that right there. I got to be careful with that, the, you know, intelligence thing, because that rubs people my way. But yeah, so that's where I've been with that. But I think in marriage is I can understand how people can lose their identity. If it's tied to a job, if it's tied to a role. Mm-hmm. What was the terminology that Sean that used? You just said it earlier. Not fixed, assigned.
Anchored.
Anchored and assigned. Mm-hmm. Anchored to 2 A's. There's an anchor role, which the anchor role is who you really are. Like, that's the role, that's who you are. And then the assigned role is what you're given through outside contracts. You know, whether it's a contract with a job, mom, you know what I'm saying? You're assigned a mom once you have a baby, but you're always going to be mom, but that's not going to be, you know, that's not who you are 100%. And so people tend to take their assigned role as who they are. And that's where the schism happens, especially in marriage, because I can see a spouse who has whether it's a woman who's affluent or the husband who's more affluent, and the other one taking like a back seat. And when you take that back seat, I think that's where people tend to lose themselves a little bit when they don't, you know, and they may have dreams and aspirations or things that God's called them to do, but because of their sacrifice that they have for the person that they love, it tends to withdraw, or that little person who is screaming, hey, I want a dream, it's kind of been pushed to the back of the back of the consciousness.
Yeah. And I think that's why it's so important to be connected with your spouse, because
to articulate it or
just to communicate it out, but then also to know that that's where they are and to support them through it. You know, I think of like Tabitha Brown, right? Yeah. Technically, her husband helped her with her dream for years, and you know, when her career took off, he kind of took that back seat type of thing. But then she retired him.
But he was still in his assignment, so he was cool.
Yeah, that's true.
He was a police officer still. Like, he was like, yo, I'll go to work because
wherever you are,
Yeah.
And I also something I think about too is that book, Relational IQ. He talked about people who are assignments, and I can see this applying to people too. Like there are people who are anchored. Use that word anchored, meaning they're lifetime relationships. But then there are people who are assignments. And he was talking about how the things and the people that you are assigned to, they are not reciprocal. They are not designed to be reciprocal. You're assigned to that person or that place or that thing. It's not supposed to pour back into you. You're supposed to pour into it, and then those people who are anchors pour into you. And it stood out for me because I think a lot of times the people we are quote unquote assigned to, or the assignment, we expect it to pour back.
Yeah.
But it's not supposed to. It's an assignment. We are called to pour in to what we are assigned to, but that assignment it doesn't necessarily have to give back to us. So that just made me think about that. I think the things that we are assigned to, we have to find, God will give us the reciprocal love, support, encouragement, affirmation from people who are probably assigned to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, it may not come from that place or that person that you're assigned to. I just thought about it because I think they're connected. We're talking about coaching, but I think, you have to identify the relationships that you have in your life and then figure out, okay, is this an anchored relationship or is this an assignment? If it's an assignment, I have to be okay pouring into you and never expecting it back in return.
Maybe that was good, but that had nothing to do with identity.
Oh yeah, no, I think we're on the side.
Yeah, I wanted to
stay on that.
Stay on topic, but
okay.
It's fine.
So with
that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother you just created a whole nother pod.
Yeah.
I mean, not pod, but yeah. Identity.
Yeah.
In your marriage. Give me 2 ways you can lose it, and then on the flip side, 2 ways that you can help a spouse find their anchor.
I think 2 ways you could lose it probably is in refusal to change. Like, this is how I've always been. Like, this is me. I think that can be a dangerous spot to be in.
That's one.
Another would probably be continual sacrifice without boundaries.
All right. Go. Just a little bit further. Don't go too far, but go just a little bit further to that.
So
I'm going to leave that.
It's okay. It's okay. Like, we are called to serve one another.
Okay.
In relationship, especially in marriage, right? But when you are serving and it is at the expense of yourself all the time, and you don't communicate, hey, I'm being depleted here.
Yeah.
It can become a place of resentment. And you can, the person you love can easily become the person you detest.
That's good.
So like, you thinking you're doing something positive.
Yeah.
When in reality, you're not.
Okay.
Because the person, if they love you, they want to honor your boundaries. That they want to know what's okay, what's not okay.
Yeah.
So you have to be, number one, you got to know what they are. You gotta identify what you need, what those boundaries are. But then communicate it out. And then when the other person tells you, listen, like, yeah.
All right. 2 ways. On the flip side, a spouse loses their identity. What's a way that they can maintain their anchor without making their spouse feel like they've grown. So the reason why what I want to attack is the irreconcilable differences reason that people give for marriages, right? A lot of it is outgrew them, right? Mm-hmm. And in those kind of situations, when usually someone's anchor identity, they're pretty strong. The other person, like, is what you just described. They haven't said their boundaries, and the other person maybe move fast. So what are ways that someone can keep their anchored identity as well as help their partner or spouse, be that two-tiered oxen that are yoked?
So I can only speak for myself.
Sure.
No. So, but I can tell, and it's not the Bible app, not a reel talking about God. Nope. I can tell the difference when I start my day off with Christ in my word in the actual Bible, right? Even if it's just 2 to 3 scriptures and journaling, I can tell the difference on how I show up with you versus when I don't make the time.
So one is the word, word of God.
Yeah.
Okay. What is that anchor? Now that's an anchor. What does that anchor do?
So that anchor
for you
keeps me aware of my assignment as your wife.
Even if it has nothing to do with relationship?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day...
Because there are some scriptures that...
Yeah, because
interpersonal relationship.
At the end of the day, marriage is a relationship, right? A relationship is just it's a connection with another person.
Yeah.
The Bible is all about connection with other people. If I don't treat... And it starts with self. If I don't treat myself well, I can't treat other people well.
Gotcha.
If I don't treat other people well, how in the world am I going to treat you well? Unless, right, I treat other people well and I fail to treat you well because of whatever reasoning that I have.
Gotcha.
So definitely it's anchor.
Okay. That was one. The word. What's 2?
I would say give your spouse permission to speak to either your blind spots or your underdeveloped areas or the areas of opportunity.
Okay. That's a business.
And I say that for a lot of reasons. I think we don't know what we don't know, right?
Right.
So sometimes we have a blind spot on something and we don't even realize it. If one person said, no. But if 2 people say it, you might want to consider like, okay, 2 people have said that. Maybe I should think about it. But then also, there are things that you see in me or I see in you that I'm like, oh, babe, you're really good at that. You can, I can see great potential there. But if I don't have the permission, I'll say that, if I don't have the permission to speak to that, it will continue to be underdeveloped. Because you won't even know it's there.
It's good stuff.
Like, you'll probably just be like, oh, that's just me. Meanwhile, that's a potential avenue of impact that God's trying to use in you. For you, it's just you being you.
Yeah.
But to somebody else, that's where your greatness shines.
Gotcha. So, man, that was good, baby. Assigned anchor. You are not your assigned role, identity. You're not. It is something that was given to you. Your anchor identity is something that God gave you. And of course, to understand the anchor identity, you got to talk to the true anchor. And to do that, you got to go into the Word of God because He explicitly tells us about who we are. And I think sometimes, for me, I'm learning how not to be just coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm learning how to be James Cornelius Williams. And that dude, man, probably left in 2007. And now I'm trying to find him all these years later. You know what I mean? Like, when I started trying to pursue this dream of being a national champion, in the pursuit of that became what I thought would be something that'll put me in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Nah, I got a chance this weekend to realize like what it's all about because there were a few guys who were in the gym that I coached AAU. I was an AAU coach. Like I was their travel ball coach, and now I'm watching them with a logo representing a university, representing a head coach. One of the gentlemen, he's a photographer. He does all the video basically for every basketball event in Atlanta. And to see him and to know that they can come up to me and smile when they see me, and it's not like, it goes back to impact. You know what I'm saying? It goes back to truly, I am rethinking what it means to be a Hall of Fame person. You know what I'm saying? The Hall of Fame coach is for man. The Hall of Fame person is for God. And I'm truly understanding more and more every day as I get further and further away from what had happened to me to transform into who I'm supposed to be ultimately. Should I get the opportunity to be a head coach again or the leader of an organization again, I think I'll be much better at it, and I won't allow it to consume me to become who I am. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like Venom in Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? Venom, when he wore that costume, it became him. Spider-Man, he took it all. Like, yeah, man. Like, yeah. And for you may be in a relationship with someone and you're struggling with identity. I think the best thing you can do is open that book, David, man, Psalms. God did a very good job in the book of Psalms of affirming David during his most difficult times. And I go to that because David is credited with writing the book of Psalms. But people don't realize, like, most of the Psalms he's writing, he's running from King Saul. Like, he's running for his life from a man that he loved who's trying to kill him, right? Could you imagine that? Hiding in caves. And the relationship that David had with God is so crazy because God was always affirming who he was. He never stopped being King David. He just hadn't taken on the role yet. You never stop being who God has called you to be ever. You just have to realize it. For me, it takes two things. Okay. First one, knowledge. Knowledge, you have to acknowledge and say who you are. The second thing is you got to surrender that to God. Because once you acknowledge it, you identify it, now you have to surrender it to God, because when you surrender it, you put your hands up and you say, whatever you created me to be, I'll be.
Which one do you think is harder?
Surrendering to God. Surrendering to God. I'm living proof of it. It's harder because it becomes your identity. It's a whole reversal thing. I see what I did there. When you feel like you got an anchor, but it's assignments. You know what I'm saying? When you feel like you got an anchor, you feel like you're anchored in something, but it's really an assignment. Because the moment it's taken away, the moment is gone. Because he can take it away, remove it completely. He can literally fire you and you're not a head coach. Does that not make me a coach?
Right.
Or does he redirect and put me in coaching in other places?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, but I have to be open to whatever it is he wants to do. I got to be surrendered to whatever it is he decides to do, whatever direction he tells me to go. And I think as in John chapter 5, God tells the lame man, he said, go walk. Told him to take a step, walk.
You know,
do it.
What I remember you saying, and it stuck with me.
What?
You said that your mission is to, you are called and assigned to help develop young men between the ages of 14 to 21?
To 22. I was creating successful men.
And you said that coaching was just the avenue.
It was the vehicle.
It was a vehicle.
That I used to do that. I could do that.
And then
I could do that without that vehicle.
And you said that a while ago. You said that years ago.
But did I believe it is the question. Because again, I acknowledge it. But if it's not surrendered, then it just becomes your identity. It becomes who you think you're supposed to be. I'm supposed to coach Duke. That's not. John Shire got that job. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to coach. I'm not calling you to Duke. Yeah. I'm calling you first to this house, to this home, to be the leader in this home, the leader in this home, the man of God in this home. and then I'll send you out. First, I got to strip all this stuff that you thought you was. Got to take it all away, break you down, and then I'll build you back up. But to do that, you got to be submitted. So, hey, we love you. We honor you. Don't use irreconcilable differences as a way to split from who God put you together with. Try to find common ground. Stay anchored and rooted in the Word. I think that's most important. But more importantly, don't assume that the assignment is who you are, because you'll be sadly disappointed when it's removed. And that relationship may be an assigned relationship. Don't be sad or disappointed when that person is removed, or don't be sad or disappointed when that person doesn't have the expectation to reciprocate what you've given them. It may not be for them. It may be for them to receive and for you to give, and vice versa. But in all, be surrendered that God has you, man. God has you, just like the man by the pool for 37 years. And now you're 38, man. Jesus came and said, go walk. You just never know. As Pastor Roy said, spiritual payday. He's a spiritual payday. That was crazy, man. That was crazy. We love you. You guys have a great day. Yeah, great service. Yeah, listen. The June 28th, 2026 service. Walk it, dude. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.